let's talk a little bit about airplanes. In my last video on the subject that talked about airfoils, airfoils on an aircraft, and I described an airfoil as a vertical splice of an aircraft, of an airplane wing. So you know the wing, you know, the wing has, speaking of one wing only, the wing has a vertical plane and a horizontal plane. The airfoil I'm talking about is the vertical splice of the airplane's wing. As a matter of fact, when we talk about airfoil of the wing, we ignore the horizontal plane of the wing. So I described an airfoil as a vertical splice of a wing, or you can also an airfoil section. You can also call it that, an airfoil section of the wing, because there are airfoils in various sections of the wing. Okay, so there are several vertical splices, okay, on a wing, which are airfoils, you know, from the wingtip all the way inboard to the wing root on the fuselage. So my friends and friends, how you doing? How are you? You already know that I don't just post music videos. I also post aviation videos, airplane videos, so you can have some kind of knowledge of what's going on in the aviation industry. The reason why I covered and I'm still covering airfoil on an aircraft, airfoil of a wing on an aircraft, is because I will be covering the development of forces on those airfoils. So those airfoils on both wings have a tight relationship with the air in which the aircraft is moving. Okay, especially at takeoff, when the aircraft is taking off. So there's a lot of air buildup under the wings that act on those airfoils that allow the airplane to take off with the help of the elevators who who contributed in the taking off of the aircraft by helping the pilot to rotate the nose of the aircraft of the airplane upward. So those airfoils, if you want to call them ribs of the wings, you know, because there are several of them at stations of the wings, or sections of the wings, and between those airfoils, or if you want to call them ribs, there are fuel tanks, you know, several fuel tanks on both wings. So those airfoils are very important. So that's why I will be posting I will be posting a video about the forces, the development of forces on those airfoils of the wings of the plane. But you know, in aviation, one thing about aviation, most stuff in aviation are dealt with in terms of classifications, and so even for airfoils, there are classifications for them, you know. And as a matter of fact, airfoil in the United States, airfoil was developed back in 1929, at the beginning of 1929, by an organization, and the name of the organization was National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA. That's the organization that first developed airfoils at the start of 1929. And one thing that that is very important to know, actually, that organization, NACA, was the I would say the forerunner of NASA. What I meant by that, NACA actually gave rise to NASA. NASA, which is NASA, as you know, stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So every time you hear NACA, which was responsible for the development of airfoils at the beginning of 1929, so you can think of NASA as part of as an offspring of NACA. Okay. Well, the way that airfoils were classified by NACA in 1929 was in terms of digits, in terms of numbers, digits. There were, I think the first digit series was a four-digit series of airfoil. So there were like categorized by the term NACA and whatever number that comes after that. But the first series of NACA airfoils was a four-digit series. Okay, the first digit. Remember, you got to remember what an airfoil. You got to remember how I think you might need to go to my video, to my last video about airfoil to understand what an airfoil is, because I gave a description of an airfoil. Okay, and an airfoil may be symmetrical. That means the upper surface and the lower surface, they have the same shape. But the airfoil I'm talking about right now is the airfoil that is curved slightly. Okay, I think if you need to know more about that, you need to go watch my previous video on airfoil, because I really described very clearly what it is. Because when the airfoil as the airfoil is curved. Okay, so in that case, it's in aviation in aviation it is said that the airfoil, the curved airfoil, has a camber line. Okay, and that camber line has a lot to do with the characteristics of the airfoil. Okay, so yeah, I don't really want to go back to that. You probably need to go watch my previous video on that. But back to the classification of airfoil by NACA digits at a 4 digits series. In the 4 digit series, the first digit gives the amount of camber in percentage of the chord of the airfoil. Because the airfoil have a chord line which is drawn from the leading edge of the airfoil to the trailing edge of the airfoil. That's a chord line, and the chord term, that's the length of the chord line. So whatever measurement is taken for anything else in the airfoil is in relation to the chord. Okay, so I also talk about the maximum camber. The maximum camber, which is a distance from the camber line to the cord line. And I also talk about, that was in my previous video, I also talk about the maximum thickness in the airfoil, and the location of the maximum thickness of the airfoil and or the camber line have that location has a lot to do with the characteristics of the airfoil, and whether or not the airfoil is applicable to supersonic airplane or subsonic aircraft. So for you to understand that, you need to go watch my previous video on the subject. So back to the classification of airfoils by NACA digits. Okay, four digit series. The first digit, like I just told you, gives the amount of camber in percentage of the cord. The second digit give you the maximum camber in tenths of the cord. That's two numbers. That's two digits, and the last two digits, okay, give you the maximum thickness of the airfoil, again in percentage of the cord, because every measurement, okay, in the airfoil is done in relation to the cord, okay, to the cord, which is the length of the cord line. Okay, so once again, the first series of airfoil that was developed by NACA, they were the 4-digit series. The first digit was give you the amount of camber. The second digit was give you the maximum camber, and the last two digit is give you the maximum thickness of the airfoil. So the maximum thickness is measured from the upper surface of the airfoil to the lower surface of the airfoil. That's maximum thickness, and the maximum thickness and the maximum camber, they can be most of the time they are close to the leading edge, and when that happens, the leading edge has a bigger radius, the leading edge of the airfoil, but the camber, the maximum camber and maximum thickness can also be moved back, okay, which increases their distances from the leading edge, which makes the radius, which reduces the radius of the leading edge. Okay, and when that happened, when let me put it this way. The maximum thickness usually is close to the leading edge of the airfoil. So is the maximum camber. Yeah. So that makes the radius, I mean, it's a thick section that makes the radius of the airfoil bigger. Okay, now right there at that section, that thick section right here, there's the minimum pressure point. So that minimum pressure point is close to the leading edge, okay, which has a big radius. So when the air flows over over the wing, which is over the airfoil, over the wings, because of that big radius, because of that pressure point, because of the minimum pressure point, which is close to the radius, so the airflow encounters some resistance, which causes drag. Okay, because the minimum pressure is very close to the minimum pressure point is very close to the leading edge of the airfoil of the wing. So now if you move the maximum thickness and or the maximum camber farther away from the leading edge, that reduces the radius of the leading edge, which reduces drag. And when that happens, the air flows very smoothly now, okay, over the airfoil or over the wing. And usually that type of airfoil, they are the 6 and 7 digit series. Okay, so after they are when the maximum thickness or the maximum camber is moved back further away from the leading edge, then the minimum pressure point is also the distance between the minimum pressure point and the leading edge also, increases. So there's more distance, the distance is bigger now, the distance is larger now, the distance between the minimum pressure point and the leading edge is larger now, so that allows the air to flow smoothly over the airfoil, smoothly over the wing. Okay, and those two elements, they are characteristics of 6 and 7 digits airfoil. Okay, still developed by NACA at the beginning of 1929. So let's say let's see if we can find an example, the 4-digit okay, let's see if we can let's make up a 4-digit series. Let's make one up. Let's say we have a NACA 2616 airfoil. Okay, remember the 2 in the 4-digit series. The 2 the first digit represent the amount of camber. So I just told you that now we have a NACA 2616 airfoil. So the first digit is 2. So 2. So we can say that that camber, then that airfoil has a maximum camber of 2% of the airfoil code. Okay, that's the first digit. The second digit, I say 6. Okay, 6. The second digit, remember, represents the maximum camber. So 6, and the maximum in, yeah, the second digit represent the maximum camber in tenths of the chord. So here we have a 6, so that means that the chord, I mean let me put it this way. The camber, the airfoil has a maximum camber of 60% of the chord. Okay, I hope you got it. And finally, what was the last 2 digits? 1 and 6. Remember, it's a NACA 2616 series. So in the NACA numbers for airfoils, the last 2 digits always represent the maximum thickness of the airfoil. So now we can see that since we have 16, okay, as the last 2 digits here, so that airfoil has a thickness of 16% of the chord, because you need to remember that all the measurements are taken in relation to the chord, okay, which is the length of the chord line, which is measured from the leading edge to the trailing edge. Okay, so I think you got it.